All right, good morning, friends. We'll be starting in just about a minute or less. You'll want a block today or something that you can use to push your hand into for a specific exercise we're going to do. So we'll take this next minute to minute and a half to grab a block if you need it, or if you have it, I should say. All right, we'll get started. So we are at the very end of Happiness is an Inside Job, this wonderful book by Sylvia Boorstein. I highly recommend it. She writes in a fashion that is very understandable. And so for me, that's important. Last week, we talked about the hindrances, the things that get in the way of keeping us from being the very best we can be. They're called kileshas in the Pali language. Now that might sound familiar as klesha in Sanskrit. So those, if you recall, are fatigue, anger, doubt, desire, and worry. So now in this last bit, she is giving us the universal antidote, which is wise concentration. And there are 5 factors of concentration to these hindrances. Now they don't each match up to one per hindrance. It's more of a collective thing, if you will. So what Sylvia Boorstein says is we sit and we become aware of the breath, and in that awareness, that starts to develop composure. Then we add to that a more specific breathing, which we'll go through, and this takes us into a sense of confidence. After all, we have been breathing our whole lives. And if you've been alive for any amount of time, you're pretty used to breathing. You can be confident that you can breathe. And then third would be, from this breath, we have a sense of increased calmness. And then again, adding on to that, we have a heightened awareness of body sensation, which the Buddhists call rapture. And there's a sense of delight that comes from this. And then lastly, one-pointedness, which interestingly, Sylvia Boorstein says that comes the closest to representing the end of suffering. Because when we're in this state of practicing contentment as such, there's no yearning, there's no desire. There's only this place where we've accepted whatever the situation is, and now we're responding with benevolence. And as she says, that's practicing contentment. So let's begin, and we'll come into easy sitting, right leg in front. So if you're just joining and didn't hear me before, make sure you have a block or something with a little height that we can press into the floor for a future exercise that we're going to do. So coming into an easy sitting position, right leg in front, finding the place where you can sit comfortably just for a few moments. Set your gaze down, maybe even close the eyes, and just start breathing. Just be aware of the breath. Maybe as you breathe in, you say to yourself, I'm breathing in. And I'm breathing out. And this is developing composure. And let's lift the gaze, and we'll twist to the right side, looking over right shoulder. Take a breath here. And let's come back to center. Now pat yourself on the back with the left hand and go ahead and hook the elbow. So we create this little bit of a square. Make sure your seat is nice and stable. Inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, hinge off to the right side, being sure that the left hip stays nice and secure. We don't want to lift it up. Taking a breath here. And come on back up, separating the hands. Big inhale, find cactus arms, maybe even look up. And then on the exhale, mindful that your seat doesn't lift, hinge forward, taking hands to the floor, tented fingertips. Flat back all the way down. Then on the in-breath, tuck your chin, round the spine. Let the head be the very last thing to come up. Keep inhaling as you come up and walk or drag your hands to the back, just so you can puff the chest up, open the whole front side. And keeping this back lean, let's go ahead and switch the legs. Coming back into this nice, stable composure place that we've already established. And go back to the breath, but this time, as you start to breathe, let's kind of label the breath a little bit, being aware of where the breath starts, where that inhale ends, and then that little pause right before the beginning of the exhale. So see if you can identify that. And at the bottom of that exhale, see if you can note that, and then see the pause. And take another in-breath, noting the beginning of the inhale, the end of the inhale, a little pause, the beginning of the exhale, and the end of the exhale. Lifting your gaze and start to twist over to the left. So once we start to establish that kind of identifying and labeling, if you will, of the breaths, come back to center. That restores confidence in us. Pat yourself on the back with the right hand, hook the elbow, inhale, lift, making sure to secure that seat on the right side as we bow off to the left. Come on, back up, big cactus arms. And then on the exhale, making sure your seat is nice and secure, hinge forward, tented fingertips coming all the way down, flat back. And then round the spine to come back up. I'll take one more little puff of the chest here, rolling the chest up, stretching the whole front side. And then coming on to all fours. Just starting with some organic cat-cows. Maybe we'll add some hip circles, making sure to go in both directions and paying attention to the breath here. So this idea of being aware of the breath, first just giving us a sense of composure, and then maybe I call it labeling the breath or identifying the different parts of the breath, draws us into this place of extra calmness and confidence. All right, let's come to neutral spine, and we'll take right knee to nose as we tuck and round. Exhale, leg long, lift it up. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, long, and take one more. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, leg is long. Draw the leg so that it's parallel to the floor, and then send it out to the right, toes looking forward. Now check your left hip. If you want to look up and you'll see what I'm talking about. I lean way off to the left. It's not so bad, but let's try to even it out a little bit. Circles to the front. Just 3 or 4 little circles with your right leg. And now we'll do this little tap maneuver. We draw the foot down, tap the big toe, roll to the pinky side, and then lift it back up. We'll do that 2 more times. Tap down, roll to pinky side, up, and then once more like that. Tap down and roll, and now lift back up. Tap down and roll this time. See if you can take peace fingers to the big toes, and if they don't reach, you just stop along the way somewhere. Now here we will have to hinge a tiny bit to the left. We're going to play with this idea of lifting the right leg up with the attached fingers somewhere. There's quite a burn in the left glute. You'll feel it. Take another breath. And release, rolling the foot back so we have a nice established foot. Big inhale here, arching your back, using the right pinky foot or side of the pinky side as a kickstand. Then coming to neutral spine, extend left arm long. We'll needle underneath, rolling onto left shoulder. So play here. If it's the first thing you're doing today, maybe you back it out. But if you've already had a workout or walk or
Whatever, maybe you extend those peace fingers to the big toe and try to twist a little extra. Play with something that feels good, and then go into your breathing and be aware of the changes in your breath. Not that we're going to do anything about it, we're just taking note of it. That's all. And unfurl yourself. Big inhale to lift up. Keeping that space, extend your body long. Little half dog here. Still using the right pinky toe as a sense of a kickstand. Draw yourself back up. We'll extend the right leg long and stretch into the right calf. Now add the left leg coming into plank pose. And maybe you stay in plank right now, or if you're ready, maybe knees or not, lower chaturanga. Lifting your heart up dog or cobra. And take it back, downward facing dog. Nice big breath in and out. Let's come right back down onto all fours, and we'll start with our left knee to nose. Inhale, left knee to nose. Exhale, send the leg long. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, long. And one more. Knee to nose. Exhale, long. Set the leg into a neutral position here. Send leg out to the left. Become aware of where that right hip is. If you're way off to the right, see if you can center it a little bit more. And do those circles coming forward, left leg. Just 3 or 4. And then we start with the tap and roll. So we drop the foot, roll to the pinky side, and then lift it back up. Drop the foot, roll, and lift. Take one more. Drop, roll, lift it up, and now drop and roll. Extending left peace fingers to the big toe if they fit. If they don't, just reach somewhere else. Now play with the idea of lifting. There will be a slight lean to the right. Hover and hold. Great way to wake up the glutes. And then release the leg back down, rolling to the pinky side so we have that sense of a little kickstand. Find a sense of arching in the back. Big inhale here. And now extend right arm long, needle underneath, maybe taking right peace fingers to the big toe on that side, and just finding a big twist here, a place where we can still breathe, and a place where we can have a sense of heightened awareness in the breath. And now unfurl yourself. Once again, establishing that kickstand on the left leg. Walk your hands forward. Nice big stretch. Make your way back up. Extend the left leg long so we can stretch into that left calf. Now add the right leg, plank pose. Either knees or not, lower chaturanga. Lift your heart up as you inhale and come into down dog. Taking 3 very intentional breaths here. As you breathe in now, having developed composure and confidence, from this, we establish a sense of increased calmness. See if you can feel that. The bottom of that next exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop it up, come up halfway. Then exhale, release forward. Inhale to standing, arms come with you. Let's just keep moving. Keep the belly pulled in. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop it back, either holding or lowering. Lift your heart, up dog, maybe cobra, and downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Right leg forward, low lunge position, dropping the left knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, prep for Hanuman flow, coming down. Hands wide on the tented fingertips. Inhale, lift up, open mouth, exhale. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, let it go. One more, roll it up. And let it go. Coming up to all fours, elbows squeeze in, lower chin and chest. Scoop through your mini cobra pose and then lift it right back up. Downward facing dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Left leg forward, low lunge. Right knee down. Inhale, lift up, fill up. Exhale, prayer twist left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, prep for the Hanuman flow. Hands to the side, nice and wide, tented fingertips. Flat spine, inhale. Open mouth. Inhale, round it as you lift up. Exhale, flat back to let it go. Take one more, inhaling, rolling up, and then purging out. Come on back up, all fours. Squeeze elbows in, lower chin and chest. Scoop through mini cobra, and then lift it back up. 3 breaths in down dog. So again, being intentional with the breath, being aware of it, not changing it necessarily. We don't want to necessarily change the situation. We just want to be aware of it and then meet it as a friend, meet it with benevolence. So this is the 4th one where we have a heightened awareness of body sensation. This is what the Buddhists called rapture. There's so much pleasure, so much delight in this contentment. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop it up. Come up halfway, exhale, release forward. Now inhale to standing, arms come with you, pull that belly in, big lift, one more, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, keep that beautiful length, exhale, step or hop it back, and then lift it up dog or cobra. Coming back, downward facing dog. Big breath in and out. Let's start left side now. Left leg comes forward, high lunge position. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, prayer twist left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to the floor, left leg back. 1 or 2 legs for your descent. 1 or 2-legged up dog. And then 1-legged downward facing. Left leg lifts. Now replace the leg, downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Right leg forward, lunge position. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, prayer twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to the floor, right leg back. 1 or 2 legs to descend, so chaturanga or trianga. 1 or 2-legged up dog. Now 1-legged dog. Right leg lifts, give it a big stretch. Release for downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. So I'll repeat what Sylvia Boorstein said about the 5th one, which is one-pointedness. And she says this comes closest to representing the end of suffering. Because at this place, there's no yearning or lusting for anything to be different than what it is at this given moment. And that is practicing contentment. Bend your knees, look forward. Step or hop it up. Come up halfway. Exhale, release forward. And inhale, standing arms come with you. Let's add back bend. So once we come up, pull the belly in. You can leave your arms high or they can be at the hips. But we want to push the hips forward, weights in the heels, pull the belly in a lot. So weights in the heels, belly's pulling in even though you're pushing forward, and the hips are coming in front of the knees if possible. All right. Come on back to standing. Let's get the block and we'll place it to the right side of our body. So this is like what we did in the kneeling position where we took the leg and lifted up, but we're going to try it in standing position. So you'll want to have that block there. First, let's just start off. Inhale, lift up. Pat yourself on the back with the right hand. Now if you're ready to take Gomukhasana or maybe leave the hand at the sacrum, try that. Otherwise, you can go back to hooking the elbow. They're all good. Inhale for a nice big lift here. And as you exhale, hinge off to the left side, pushing the hips right, counterbalancing, letting the elbow lead you here, pulling belly in. Now inhale right back to center. Keeping the arms as best you can, separating the feet a tiny bit. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Pull the belly in, exhale. Again, leading with the elbow, hinge forward. See if in this place you can shift into the toes. It's a little more challenging when your arms are like this. And then drop the head down. Lifting kneecaps. Another big breath. Now come up just enough to mindfully release the hands, and we'll walk our hands to the right side. Make a little twist here. Just look over the right side. See how it all feels. Now come back to center, placing right hand on the block. Peace fingers to the big toe on the left side. And some of us may know this one. You may know that maybe you're better off holding the knee instead of peace fingers to the big toes. Play with what's best for you. And we start just lifting the legs. See how it feels to lift the left leg. Keeping the toes looking forward. Now let's try to come to standing like this. You lift up, the leg stays to the outside, to the left. Big toe pose. Can you find that calmness with your breath? Leg comes forward. Pulling left shoulder back to even things out. Keeping this shape, but letting go of the foot and the hand. And then release, coming back to standing. Shake it out. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to prayer. Right at the heart center. Squat down, chair pose. Rolling back into the heels this time. Soften into the breath. Setting a drishti point. Crossing right ankle over left knee. Watch for the droopy hip. We want to keep that right hip up. Hinge forward. Keep the squat on the left side as best you can. Make your way back up, little standing frog. Right heel to the right hip. If you're not feeling it, then kick your right knee back a little bit. Pull the belly in. And release. Let it go. Inhale, lift up. Let's go ahead first and switch the block to the left side. All right, now we'll inhale, lift up. Pat yourself on the back, left hand, wherever is appropriate for the right side. Inhale, big lift here. On the out breath, hinge to your right. Let the hips push to the left. That's a nice big counterbalance for you. So this way, if we're not twisting in the body, we can isolate that whole left side and get a good stretch. Pushing the hips off. One more breath. And then on your next in-breath, come on back up to center. Keep the arms if that's okay. Separate the feet. Lift, leading with left elbow. Exhale, hinge. As you hinge, see if you can shift slightly into the toes. Let the head drop. Pull the kneecaps up. Come up just enough to let the arms go, and then we take that little walk off to the left side. See how it feels to twist the spine, opening up. Come back, we place left hand on the block, peace fingers to the big toe on the right side. Just play with it first, see what it feels like to just swing the leg up and down. Toes keep looking forward, and then once you get to a place where you start to feel a little bit of comfort, go ahead and lift up. Wobbling is okay. Finding big toe pose. And then use your breath to find this sense of calm. Leg comes forward, evening out the shoulders by pulling the right shoulder back most likely. Point the toe, let go, lift, and release. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Squat down, chair pose. Setting your drishti point, pulling belly in. Left leg lifts. Crossing over the ankle, ankle over knee. Watch for the left hip drooping, lift it up. Hinge forward, pull your belly in. And make your way back up, standing frog pose. Left heel to the hip. And again, if you're not feeling anything there, try drawing the left knee back. So you should get a nice quad stretch. All right, friends, let's let it go. Come right back to standing in front of the mat. Big inhale, lift up. Strong belly, pull it in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop it back all the way, or maybe you hang out in plank right now, whatever's good for you. Lift your beautiful heart up dog, baby cobra, and back into downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg up. Stack the hips, bend the knee, lifting head, looking over left shoulder, and then play here. Either flip, maybe side plank, or maybe you're coming out of it today. Whatever is good for you. Coming right back, right leg stays lifted, one-legged dog. Forward, knee to nose in plank pose. Exhale, stretch it back, one-legged dog. Inhale, forward, knee to nose. Exhale, back, one-legged dog. And again, last one, we come forward, knee to nose, really pull in. Exhale, one-legged dog. This time as you come forward, plant the foot between the hands, drop down left knee. Let's create some space in this one since we'll be holding for a little bit. So make sure you're not super square like this in the kneeling. Maybe extending the right leg forward and to the right a little bit if you need to. Inhale, lift up, maybe hinge, and just see how that feels to open up into the left front hip. And then come on back to a little bit of our neutral spine. We'll draw the hands to heart, roll shoulders open, and twist to the right, keeping your torso upright. So as you do this, see if you can pull the right hip crease back. Keep the belly nice and strong. Now what about extending arms? If that's available, go ahead and extend, and then look over your right shoulder. Right hand to hip, or some of you may go all the way down to your heel as we lift the left arm for this twisted back bend. But you want to have some kind of support, either hand to hip or hand to foot if you've done it a lot. We're finding this twisted back bend. Take another breath here. Make your way back up as we face the front again. Extended arms, we come down for Hanuman. So we may repeat what we did in our warm-up, which is just like this, or maybe your body has warmed up enough and you want to go a little bit deeper. It's all good, as long as you can work within the realities and truths of your body at this given time. Knowing that we're not changing anything in the body, we might change what we do with it, but we accept everything as it is at this given moment, and we treat our body with that same benevolence that we try to treat everything else. Last breath like this. Tippy-toeing that foot back and rebending the right knee. Tuck your left toes under. Lift up for high lunge position. And we'll start a little flow here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist right as you drop to left knee. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist. And then last one, take it up and take it down. Now let's snuggle in here, finding a nice connection between the left arm and the right knee. Pop the left knee up.